Let's take it back to the story where Daniel was saved in the lion's den. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you may be listening to my audio message. My name is Prophetess Temidire. So Daniel chapter 6, verse 1 to 28 told us the story of how Daniel was saved from the lion's den. So Darius divided his kingdom into 120 states, and he placed a governor in charge of each one of those states in order to ensure proper running of the government. So Darius put 3 other officials in charge of the governors. One of these officials was Daniel, and he did his work so much better than other governors and officials that the king decided to let him govern the entire kingdom. So the other men tried to find something wrong with the way Daniel did his work for the king, but they could not accuse him of anything because he was faithful and honest and did everything he was supposed to do. So finally, they said to one another, we cannot be able to bring any charge against Daniel unless it has to do with his religion. So they went to the king and they said, Your Majesty, may you live forever. You know what we want you to do? We want you to make a law that no other person can amend, not even you, that for the next 30 days, everyone must not pray to any god or any human except you. And anyone who disobeys must be thrown into the pit of lion. Then the King Darius, made this law and had it written down. But Daniel later that day returned home. He went upstairs and prayed in front of his window that faced Jerusalem in the same way he has always done. He knelt down and prayed 3 times a day, giving thanks to his Lord. So those men came back and told the king and said, didn't you just make this law that nobody must pray to any god or any human except you, the king, for the next 30 days? And doesn't the law say whoever does that whoever disobeys must be thrown into the pit of lion? Then the king answered, yes, I made the law. Then the men told the king, Daniel disobeyed. He refused. He prayed to his God 3 times. The king was so upset to hear this, and for the rest of the day he tried to think of how to save Daniel, but he couldn't. So the king Darius ordered Daniel to be brought out and thrown into the lion's den. But he said to Daniel, you have been faithful to your God, and I pray that he will rescue you. A stone was rolled over the pit, and it was sealed. Then Daniel and his officials stamped the seal to show that no one should let Daniel out. All night long, the king could not sleep. He could not even take any entertainment. He was not himself. And as daybreak, the king ran out immediately. He was anxious and he shouted. He went to the pit. He said, Daniel, you were faithful and served your God. Was he able to save you from the lion's den? Daniel replied, Your Majesty, I hope you live forever. My God knew that I was innocent, and he sent an angel to keep the lions from eating me. Your Majesty, I have never done anything to hurt you. The king was relieved to hear Daniel's voice, and he gave orders for him to be taken out of the pit. Daniel's faith in his God has kept him from being harmed, and the king ordered the men who had brought these charges against Daniel to be thrown in the pit together with their wives and their children. But before they even reached the bottom, the lions ripped them into pieces. Now let's talk about this. I want you to know that you serve a living God. I want you to remind yourself that you serve the Lord all-powerful. I want you to remind yourself that you only need to do what? To be still, and God will fight for you. If you find yourself in this situation, or you are presently in this situation, you can relate to this matter of Daniel in your present life. I want you to uphold your faith. I want you to know that God is with you. I want you to know that he is closer than you think. I want you to know that the I am that I am is stronger than your enemies. All you have to do right now is to pray with this chapter. Pray 3 times today as this message is reaching you. Pray 3 times today. Take 3 hours of today and pray. Pray to God by reading this chapter. Daniel chapter 6 verse 1 to 28. Pray to God. The same God who saved Daniel from the pit of the lions should save you. And look at how God came through. He did not only save Daniel from the pit of the lions. He also made sure that the king turned his enemies into the lion's den. His enemies, their wives and their children. So I want you to know that when God fights for you, he fights better. When God fights for you, he fights harder. Even when you are facing accusations, even when you are facing evil and terrible people, I want you to know that you only need to do what? Be still and allow God to fight for you. You only need to be still and know the God that you serve, and know that he is stronger, and he will come like a mighty man and like a warrior. And so shall it be. God bless you.